Hey guys, welcome back. So I've been under the weather the past 3 or 4 days, and now that I've kind of got my voice back, we're gonna go ahead and jump right back in, because now we have reached the conclusion, the finale of Hulk Planet as well as Hulk Volume 5, which at this point has been a short but pretty wild ride. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to catch the spills every week, and don't forget to hit that bell up top so we can squad up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so with us coming back from our last talk, with things on Hulk Planet looking bad, to say the least, it's here now where not only has the Titan Hulk annihilated a huge portion of the Hulk Planet's population, but now he's seconds away from killing Monolith, this world's leader, and he's taken the astral projection of Doctor Strange as his prisoner, while also using it to pull Doctor Strange's physical body through the wormhole to the Hulk Planet, where like we'd seen, the Titan Hulk has been absorbing gamma energy from the Hulks of that world, melting their bodies in his hand, only to then release a portion of that energy and splash away whatever was left of them. So again, it's pretty obvious why Doctor Strange didn't want to physically come here, but now, whether he likes it or not, he's on his way. And it's here where we jump in, where we find Banner bound within the wreckage of his mind palace, asking himself if this is really how it's gonna end, with the Titan Hulk taking over his body and potentially going on an intergalactic killing spree. But then it's here where we step outside of Bruce's mind, back to the Hulk Planet, where we begin to get some of the answers that we've been waiting for, because the Titan tells Despair to look after their prisoner, Doctor Strange, while he goes to absorb more gamma from the Hulk Planet. And it's here where Despair takes a moment to fill in Doctor Strange, by way of bragging for a little bit, with him now having the upper hand when he was a prisoner of Doctor Strange just moments ago. And it's here where he tells Strange that he had allowed himself to be captured intentionally, because not too long ago, the Green Door had opened before him, and something far greater than his creator, the Dweller in Darkness, or any being that he had encountered, approached Despair and gave him a portion of its power. And even though it was a small speck, he described it as overwhelming, but with this small speck of immeasurable power being given to him, he was instructed to embed it deep in Banner's mind, in his most powerful memories, where from there, it would feed on Bruce's gamma and eventually grow into a Titan. And like we'd seen before, Despair had then disguised himself as Doctor Strange. He created the Mind Palace for Bruce, and it was here where he embedded the speck within Bruce's Mind Palace. But with that seed growing, this brought about the El Paso incident, to where then what came next wasn't exactly part of their plan, because with Bruce not wanting to hurt anyone else, while still having the ability to Hulk out and be in full control, he broke into an AIM facility, he hurt a lot of people, and he stole the equipment that he needed to convert the Hulk into a starship, to get the Hulk as far away as possible, and to keep him from hurting anyone else. But also with how this is done, with Banner making his plans to do the whole Starship Hulk thing. Even though this curveball wasn't part of Despair's instructions, Banner's modifications, with him creating an engine room and trapping the Savage Hulk inside and cranking that room up higher and higher and exerting more power and more gamma energy out of the Savage Hulk, this only played right into what Despair was instructed to do. Because eventually all of this only fed that little speck, and over time the Titan just got stronger and stronger. And Despair goes on to tell Doctor Strange, now that the Titan has taken over, he's gonna drain this planet and then make his way to Earth. But while he's saying all of this to the astral projection of Doctor Strange, Strange's physical body, along with Doc Sasquatch, finally come flying in. But for Doctor Strange, who wasn't actually listening to Despair, which is something I feel like is also gonna be the answer to the question later on, as far as Doctor Strange not knowing certain details, but with him not listening to Despair, he wanted to make sure that when he physically got there, he could break free and create a little space so that he could also reabsorb his astral form. But with freeing himself, it wasn't him alone doing this, because as it turns out, while the Titan was distracted and holding Monolith, she was siphoning his energy, not only to make him weaker, but also so she could use it back on him. But with her releasing all of this power on the Titan all at one time, it sends the Titan flying into space, which initially has the other Hulks thinking that she killed the Titan and she saved the day. But it isn't long before we find out that all she had done is given the Titan all that power back, as well as just make him angrier. But back down on the Hulk Planet, with Pave and many of the others knowing that their queen Monolith is their best chance at holding off the Titan, a number of the Hulks, including Doc Sasquatch, offer to give Monolith their gamma so that she can take on the Titan. And for a moment here, Despair then tries to go after Doctor Strange again, but the same way that he had trapped this Fear Lord before, Strange just does it once more. And this time I highly doubt that it's what Despair wanted to happen. But also at this time with Monolith absorbing the energy from her people, Strange attempts to round up an evacuation to get these Hulks out of here. But then the Titan comes crashing down through the upper atmosphere and he punches Monolith literally straight through the planet and out the other side. And really at this point, I'm not even sure how the Hulk planet is even keeping itself together at this point. But now with the Titan overcharged, it is only moments away from destroying Monolith, and soon after Doctor Strange. And it's here where Bruce, in his mindscape, is calling out for the Hulk to do something, because if the Hulk doesn't show up and do to the Titan what the Hulk has done to Bruce for years, then the Titan's rampage is not going to stop. And mind you, while Bruce is trying to reach out to the Hulk, Doctor Strange attempts to bind the Titan just to buy him a little bit of time so he can try to get Monolith out of there. But even with him doing this and pulling Monolith into the space between dimensions, the Titan Hulk still follows them there. And inside, Bruce is still trying to get the Hulk's attention, because at this point, it's now or never. And for Bruce, he's apologizing to the Hulk about the whole Starship thing, because he thought the Hulk was killing people. He thought he had to take full control. And Bruce goes from pleading with the Hulk to being like, hey man, if all these people die, it's your fault. Like, he's trying everything to get the Hulk's attention. But eventually, with Strange and Monolith literally being seconds from their death, it's here where Bruce then hulks out. In his mindscape, he hulks out, and together with the Savage Hulk, he lets him know that we are Hulk and we have many reasons to be angry. So let's get angry and get the Titan out. And it's here as the two of them go against the Titan to take back Bruce's body. It's here where we discover that the Titan's plan was to eventually get Despair to build him a mind palace, so that then the Hulk and Banner's imprisonment would be permanent. But in this moment, much like the Hulk said in the engine room, Hulk won't be caged. And with how this is done, it's like a very violent reversal of hulking out, because now out of the Titan comes the Hulk, and from the Hulk to Bruce, which again is like hulking out but backwards, almost as if he's hulking in, I guess. But just after seeing this, we then jump forward some time, where we find Bruce waking up to a letter that was written by Doc Samson, aka Doc Sasquatch, though I'm not really sure if anyone still calls him that. But in this letter, he's filling in Bruce on certain details, because he lets Bruce know that at this point he's back to his regular self. That is, his regular self with a Hulk inside. He's also back on Earth and at the Strange Academy for the moment, where he can more or less rest up, but at any moment he's free to go. And in the letter, Doc Samson goes on to tell Bruce not to blame himself for everything that happened, either on the Hulk planet or in El Paso, because Doctor Strange did a deep assessment of Bruce's mind, and it's obvious that what he was infected with grew to the point to where it took over, and it wasn't actually Bruce. And in the letter, Doc Samson even goes on to say that when it came down to it, it was Bruce and the Hulk who saved everyone. And Doc Samson made sure to inform everyone who was involved about Bruce's innocence and his heroism. And as for Despair, Samson goes on to say that Doctor Strange assures that Despair won't be a problem anymore. And long story short, Doc Samson lets Bruce know that Monolith wants to see him again, and at this point in time, Doc Samson is still on the Hulk planet, helping them with cleanup, to where from there, he tells Bruce that there's a key in the drawer to the nightstand, where he can use an actual spaceship and make his way out to the Hulk planet to join him and watch the official Godball game that start next week. And through this, Doc Samson also gives Bruce the heads up as far as him not looking the way that Bruce remembered Doc Samson looking, since they'd really only been in communication prior to this throughout the sessions that were in Bruce's mind palace. But then next, this letter then goes on to tell Bruce that the Titan power, whatever it was, bonded to your trauma centers. It's still there. Unfortunately, while Steven made it clear that you're safe, I still would like to see you regularly. Keep up with your meditations, stay calm, keep triggers at bay so symptoms don't come back. I am no expert on powerful things attaching to trauma and triggering them until they can possess the host, but I am familiar with basic trauma and how it can remain dormant for years and then suddenly flare up and overwhelm. It will never really go away completely, but for now, we can let it all recede back into the past. And from here, with finishing this letter, we go back over to Despair, where we find that little speck that I guess Doctor Strange removed and left with Despair, locked away. But it's here where we go back, where we find that same hand who gave this speck to Despair in the first place come back through the green door and take it right back. And as we see this, as the ending, as the last page, we see that it is taken back by what appears to be the leader. And I mean, with how this is done, it's ended with like the end and a question mark. And there's really no telling about where this could go, because in Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk, we learned that the leader had mastered manipulating the Green Door, as well as dying and coming back from the dead, and learning new tricks each time. And with how this is ending, it's saying it like we may get something else later that'll expand on the story. But for the upcoming Hulk series, that'll be written by Philip K. Johnson and illustrated by Nick Klein, which is coming June of this year, 2023, from what I've seen reading a few articles, it looks like they're really aiming to tell a story that's more cohesive with Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk. And that's not to say that what happened in this series will be thrown away, but in this new Incredible Hulk series, there's definitely going to be a change in tone. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/Dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.